1. It was October, almost Halloween time, and the weather was beginning to get chilly. The room was ice cold in the morning elements, all windows open in the house as though she were setting something free. She stared off into the void of her living room, her strawberry-colored hair stringy and clinging to her face with bedhead in the back as she sat on the edge of her couch, clutching a large, meaningless check. Gaylord Carter, King's Row, played in the background. His crazy organ music skipped, then continued, and then skipped again in succession, creating an eerie setting of a time gone by. She, having no more tears to cry, abandoned by her husband who had hanged himself in their walk-in closet, was now the ragged mess of a soulless person, with no emotion, poor hygiene, and reduced to a zombie state. A week had passed and the crowds of family and friends who uncomfortably visited her were beginning to subside. A murder of crows took up residence outside her home, her new and annoyingly loud paparazzi. She was grateful for family and friends, although she just wanted to disappear. The sincere comments of the loving and awkward had become unbearable. What does someone say to you when their husband would rather be dead than rough it out with you? Sorry your man offed himself? Better luck with your next pick. There was nothing comfortable to say but, I'm sorry for your loss, which was so inadequate when losing the love of your life. But what else was one to say? Thoughts raced through her mind, yet she was still disbelieving that this was her new life. She looked down at the check again, reading the rather large amount of money she had received. The large number with zeros following it was the proof of her husband's knack for financial planning and the sobering echo of his premeditation. He knew ahead of time he was going to do what he did. He knew he was going to leave her alone in life and did it anyway. That was the most painful of all realizations. He could live without her. He was a kind, tall African-American man in the financial business and knew how to tuck money away, and apparently financially plan his own demise, leaving her with enough money to start a new life. She didn't have to work for some time, if that's what she chose. She spoke with his heartbroken family and would send his cremains back to Benin, his hometown, to be buried after a religious ceremony in their family plot. And this she did after his memorial in the States. Sending him home seemed the right thing to do. She promised to come visit them in the future and visit Clay's final resting place. Right now, she could not imagine how she would ever be able to make that journey, or rather face it. It was too painful. She had just turned 40 and was determined to be sexy as she aged, but in a natural way. Her name was Johanna. She was a subtle but strong person and always managed to stay on the happier side of things. Misery was for novices. She didn't gossip, avoided those who did, and read novels and self-improvement books to enlighten her soul. She was smart and worked in the marketing industry for a local magazine, and although it was not her ultimate passion, she was good at it, and it made her a living. She liked the people she met most of all, and to her, that was what life was about. The people. Staring at the sand-colored walls, the black furniture pieces, the white floor rugs, and all the signs of her husband's style that had always felt a bit too contemporary for her, she suddenly felt like she was in an institution, the edges too square and too sanitary, the African masks now abruptly menacing. She had always liked coming home because he would be there. But now that he wasn't, there was no warmth to her home. The joy he had once imparted was now trumped by his death and the ever-present reminder of his means of exiting the world, and it wasn't pleasant. It just felt cold, and like a place in which she was no longer comfortable. The rage, sadness, discomfort, and need to run away from the scene of the crime were building every day. She had to get out of that house, and quick. She picked up the phone and called information. "Dillon Realty, please?" she told the operator as they processed her connection. She would just have Marshall put the condo on the market, fast. She had his number somewhere, but had no energy to look for it. He had sold them their house, and she wanted to get out of it as fast as possible. "Marshall? Yes, hi, this is Johanna Williams." She paused as he said his condolences. "Thank you. I want to put the house on the market immediately." There was another pause. How fast? Like a bat out of hell. I can't get out of here quick enough. Marshall went over his familiar jargon with her briefly, and she hung up the phone. The thought of leaving gave her a sense of reprieve drawing near, the only relief she had felt at all since Clay's suicide. She was abandoning ship.